Mike gripped the steering wheel. His knuckles were white. Another night on the road, another delivery. He worked for Hunger Run, a food delivery app. It was a thankless job, but it paid the bills. His stomach rumbled, a reminder that he hadn't eaten since lunch. His phone buzzed. A new order. The restaurant was Mamma Mia's Pizzeria. The address sent a shiver down his spine. 1313 Cemetery Lane. Who had an address like that? He checked the map. The house was on the outskirts of town. It was an old Victorian mansion. It looked abandoned. The old house loomed before him. It was more imposing up close. The paint was peeling. The windows were dark eyes. Mike got out of his car. The night was silent except for the chirping of crickets. He walked up the creaky porch steps. He rang the doorbell. It echoed through the house like a scream. No answer. He rang it again. Still nothing. He checked the order details. Leave at the door, it read. Don't ring the bell. Baby sleeping. Mike hesitated. He felt a chill run down his spine. Something wasn't right. But he was already here. He placed the pizza on the doorstep. As he turned to leave, he heard it. A soft cry. It was coming from inside the house. It was the cry of a child. A wave of unease washed over him. He thought about ignoring it. He could just walk away. But the cry was getting louder. He couldn't leave a child alone. He tried the doorknob. It was unlocked. A child's cry. Mike stepped inside. The air was thick with dust and decay. Cobwebs clung to every surface. He followed the sound of the crying. It led him up a grand staircase. The steps creaked under his weight. He reached the top of the stairs. There was a long hallway. The crying was coming from the room at the end. He slowly approached it. His heart pounded in his chest. He reached the door. He took a deep breath and pushed it open. Emily's gaze. The room was dark and dusty. Moonlight streamed through a crack in the curtains. It illuminated a crib in the center of the room. But there was no child. Mike scanned the room. His eyes fell on a picture frame lying on the floor. He picked it up. The glass was cracked. The photo was faded with age. It showed a woman holding a baby. The woman's eyes seemed to follow him. He read the inscription on the back. Emily and Sarah, 1978. Whispers of tragedy. Suddenly there was a loud crash from downstairs. Mike jumped. He dropped the picture frame. He ran out of the room and down the stairs. He had to get out of there. He raced toward the front door. Just as he reached the door, he saw them. 2 police officers stood on the porch. They were looking at him. One of the officers spoke. "Sir, are you all right? We received a call about a disturbance at this address." Mike was speechless. He could only point at the house. He stammered, "There's a woman and a baby." Later, as the police investigated the house, they discovered a horrifying truth. The house had been the scene of a gruesome murder-suicide decades earlier. Emily, a young mother, had been brutally murdered in that house. Her baby Sarah was never found. The story sent chills down everyone's spines. Some say the cries of a baby can still be heard in the dead of night. Whispers of tragedy linger in the air on Cemetery Lane.